You're listening to the Exploding Worship Arts Podcast, and I'm your host, Tamika Hall. I'm so excited that you tuned in today. I have a really great guest. She's one of the youngest guests that I've had on the show, and I think you're just going to be very delighted when you meet her. I'm talking about Najah Garlington, who is actually the author of Praise Dance Ballerina. And I'll tell you, I belong to a lot of different groups on Facebook. I think a lot of us do in the worship arts category. We all kind of belong to all the same things. And I happened to see a post where Najah was saying that her book was getting ready to drop on the 11th. And so I immediately sent her a message, and I was like, I would love to interview you for my podcast, because people really don't understand where the technique of ballet is so paramount. And it's actually really great for those of us that actually praise dance. And I was just really excited to get to know this young woman. And so you're going to enjoy this interview just as much as I did when I interviewed her. And so I want you to sit back, take the next load off, prepare to be inspired. And while you're at it, find me on iTunes. I have that link in the show notes. I need for you to subscribe to the podcast, give us a really great rating, and because that's going to help us to get on that front page of iTunes. I'm going to be the first worship podcast to be able to do that. So if you can help me out, that would just be amazing. But until then, I want you to just sit back and get ready to explode worship in your life. Najah, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so excited to have you on the show. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing really well. It's great. Nice to talk to you.
Well, it's really great to speak with you as well. And as I was telling everyone, I was so excited to hear about a new book that was getting ready to hit the market, and your book, Praise Dance Ballerina. So excited about that. So I'm really excited that you took the time out from your schedule, because a lot of people don't know, but you're 19 years old, you're a student, and you're also a dance teacher. And so you're really busy at this point in your life. And so I'm really grateful that I'm grateful you're taking a moment to just share about your ministry with all of us. And so I would like to just kind of kick things off. And can you just talk to us a little bit about your ministry? How did you get involved in praise dance, and actually just the whole ministry behind praise dance in itself?
Well, I actually started when I was about 9 years old, 8 or 9. I can't really remember. My mom normally tells me the story all the time. But how I got started in ballet is when I was 3, and she put me in ballet class, just like, you know, most little girls. And I actually didn't like it very much, and I actually quitted my first ballet class after a while. And it's really funny. We laugh about it all the time, because now I'm a serious ballet student. But it's really funny to me how I quit my first ballet class and I didn't want to go back. But around 8 or 9, we got involved in church praise dance. My mom got started first, and I went along with her. And while the older ladies were dancing, I just followed them in the corner, and eventually the leader asked me to join in with them, and I've just been going there ever since. And I've been combining praise dance and ballet at the same time, and it's just been amazing.
So I would love to just ask you, what do you say to people who don't understand how, you know, ballet is so great because it helps us with our core, and, you know, dance really comes from the core. What do you say to people who perform liturgical dance, you know, the dance in the church, and they don't feel like they should get formal training? Do you agree with that, or do you say, no, formal training is actually pretty good for you to have some technique?
From a first-hand experience, I believe that having technique is actually really important. I use it. I've also taught other people to use it, and it just makes presenting your dance to God so much better. You're pointing your feet. You have the grace. You have the stability to turn. There's just so many great benefits to having technique implemented in your praise dance that it just makes the overall presentation and the excellence of the dance so much better.
It does, and I love the fact that you use the word excellence, because really, at the end of the day, when we go before God with our dance, and when He allows us to go before His people and minister, we should always do everything in excellence. And so, if people are not, if you're not formally trained, then that's fine. But there's always a way to study and to constantly improve and to gain that technique. Now, Naja, talk to us about Praise Dance Ballerina. Now, from my understanding, your book actually started off as a blog. So talk to us about how you jumped into blogging and what made you decide to blog about praise dance when everybody else is blogging about makeup and nail polish.
Yeah, it's actually really funny. I've been out of ballet for a while. Like I said, I quit when I first started, and money was tight. I wasn't able to get back into it. I was had the privilege to attend a performing arts middle school where I learned most of the basics, and I loved it. And I've just been begging my parents to put me back in. So when I turned 18, we finally decided that it was time for me to spread my wings and go into a ballet class. And I was super nervous, and I knew I needed some people to help me encourage. So pretty much it all started with a Facebook page and a blog, and me talking about my fears and me talking about how I really want to be in dance and encouraging things. And it just started out as an encouragement page to myself and to other people starting things when they're older. As being 18, you're considered an old or a late starter. And normally people start dancing when they're 10 or when they're 3. And me being 18 in a class of 12-year-olds is kind of hard to handle sometimes. So I really started it as a support page, and then it just grew into people asking me questions about how do they fix things. And then it turned into, well, maybe I can help them, and here come the book. And so it's just been a really great experience overall.
Well, that's amazing that, oftentimes I ask folks, and I'm going to ask you also, just, any type of failures that you've had to overcome. And I'm sure it's not really a failure, but obviously something that you had to overcome was, as you just said, being in a classroom with 12-year-olds. And a lot of us would not do that, but obviously there was something in you that said, listen, I need to learn this. And I love the fact that you just, you just took it all in stride, and you decided to start a support page, because it's amazing. I'm sure you've seen it. A lot of people start dancing in terms of praise dancing as adults. I mean, of course, there are a lot of children that do it, but there are a lot of adults who have always wanted to dance, and this is their first entry into the world of dance. And so it's amazing that you were able to begin your support page talking about ballet. And so talk to us a little bit more about your book. Now, I understand that it just came out on Saturday, so it is hot off the press. Talk to us about what made you say, okay, I'm going to take this from just being a blog, and I'm going to sit down and discipline myself to actually write a book. Because people understand writing a book takes a lot of discipline and commitment.
It does,
so
yeah.
What made you say that in addition to being a student, in addition to teaching, now running a support group and a blog, I'm going to now put it all into a book? What made you say that you wanted to do that, Naja?
I think it really was the fact that a lot of praise dancers needed help, and I felt that with my past experience being in a performing arts middle school, with my experience in implementing ballet and technical into my praise dance, that I had something to share. And I had no problem sharing the things that I've learned throughout the years, the stuff that my dance teachers have told me, and the new things that I've learned in ballet class. And I knew there was a lot of praise dancers wanting to know, well, how do I point my feet? How do I turn? How do I, land these turns, these jumps? And I decided to take all the questions, put all my answers, write them down, and make a book for people to know this is how you do it. If you don't know, this is your all-inclusive guide to getting technique. And the book is called Becoming a Technical Dancer, and it just came out. I'm really excited about it, and I'm just really hoping that many praise dancers can take this, implement it, and learn it, and really take their dancing to the next level.
Well, I'm just excited for you because you're right. It's all about taking it to the next level. And I think that we always should study to do that. And I'm wondering if you've had the same experience that I've had. You know, again, a lot of dancers that I've encountered, they feel as though they don't necessarily need to take a dance class. And but it's amazing to me because we in the church, we expect for preachers to constantly study the word in order to give us a fresh word every single Sunday. You know, we expect the musicians and the praise team to practice and to be able to sing and to sing effectively. And let's be honest, we want it to sound good when they get in front of us. So I have always found that praise dance in itself is oftentimes, we don't necessarily treat it as we do everything else when it comes to the church or even any other type of art. Has that been your experience?
Yes, exactly. In my book, I mentioned that in each form of dance, you know, there's ballet dancers, there's jazz dancers, there's dancers on TV, dancers in music videos, but whatever kind of dancer they are, they've had training. And it seems to me that liturgical dancers or praise dancers are the only type of dancers that don't need training. If you want to be a praise dancer, you can just become one. And that's a good thing. But the thing about that is that we have little to no training. So we're doing dances that could be done so much better, and it's all about excellence to God. And we're doing things that are half done or only upper body movements when you can do so much more with your limbs. You can do so much more to express the song. And that's really what this book is about. Getting into class, I stress the importance of that. I was a fairly good dancer, so I thought, before I got into dance, and I can tell that my technique, my range of motion, my flexibility has increased, and that means that my praise dancing can increase as well. So it's really important to get into class. It's really important to train. Even if you don't take one every single week or twice a week like I do, just taking a workshop. I recently went to a free day of dance where it was free dance classes. You don't have to pay anything, and you can still learn something. So it's important to take those little things and really implement it into your dancing.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, again, I love the fact that you always go back to the word excellence. You know, it's not about you saying, hey, listen, we think that you're horrible as a dancer, but it's about doing it in excellence to God, and it is about taking the dance to another level. So, I mean, you clearly, you've got it. I know that you're 19 and other people might feel that you're very young, but obviously you have a heart for God. And that really leads me to my next question for you. With your wanting to do things in excellence, you know, the podcast is the Exploding Worship Arts Podcast, and I want to know, what does worship mean to you?
Worship means to me, well, when I think about the word worship, let's just go with that, I think about purity, you know, adoration, love, reverence, and talking about through dancing. If we reverence God, if we love Him, if we really adore Him, I would think that we want to do the best for Him. And that goes with everything, with your garments, the way you present yourself, and the way that you do your dance. I just think that if we love God, we love His people, we love to worship, we love worshiping, then, you know, everything that you do in dance should glorify God, and that includes doing turns that are correct, having things done in a way that is, you know, just exemplifying God and just radiates the love that you have for God. And that's true worship for me. I love to express it, especially in the movements that I do. And I think everybody should have the opportunity to reach the fullest potential with their dance and do things that they haven't done before in worship.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Do you have a favorite Bible verse or a quote that you use when it comes to your performing arts ministry?
Yeah, it's Acts 17 and 28, but it's only like the first part that I really, really, really love. And it's, in Him we live, move, and have our being. And that's just so cool for dancers, you know, that in Him, you know, we move for Him and we have our being in Him. And so that's the verse that I carry on all the time, that it's for Him that I dance and that it's for Him that I have my life, and He gave me the ability to dance. So in Him I have my being, and in Him I have, you know, clarity and life and joy. And so it's just a great verse, and I read it all the time.
Yes, yes, absolutely. It is all about him. It is all about him, and I can tell that you definitely make that a part of your daily life. Now, speaking of your daily routine or a daily habit that you may have, what do you do every day that contributes to the success in your ministry?
I think what I do every day, something that never fails, is constantly reading up. I always say that dancers never stop growing up, and they never stop learning. So something that I do all the time is read articles, continue to educate myself on things. I'm still a student, so I don't know everything, and there may be some things that I still have questions on myself. So I make sure that I take the time to research it out either in Scripture or on Google. It's a great tool.
Yes.
So I just really make sure that I educate myself as well.
Awesome, awesome. So, okay, now you spoke to us about how you at 18, you said, I feel like I need to have more technique. You enter the class with 12 students, and while that's not necessarily considered a failure, it was definitely a hurdle that you had to overcome in order to get to where you are today. Do you have any advice for other people who may have experienced something like that in order to be able to get to their ultimate destiny? What advice do you have about bouncing back from failure?
My advice to them is to keep your eyes on what your end goal is. It's so easy to start something and get discouraged really quick because you see what around you is not really what you want to see, or things happen around you and you get distracted, and you fall and you quit, or you decide that it's not for you anymore. You talk yourself out of it. My main advice was I always had to keep the end goal in mind, that I want to be a professional dancer in a company one day. So I'm going to have to go through this class with 12-year-olds to get there. And, it turns out that I had the best time. They're a great group. Even though they are younger to me, I look at them as little sisters, and they look at me as an older sister, where you have a fun time in the class. And, just take one day at a time. Don't think of it as, a setback, but, just stepping stones to get there.
And what's funny, well, it's not really funny, but I think a good lesson that we are learning from that is that, we can learn from people that are younger than us. And obviously that's necessary because you've written this incredible resource. And, here I am, I'm 33 years old, and I'm going to be able to learn from you just to increase my technique and all of those great things. So, obviously, when it comes to us perfecting our craft and doing things in excellence, I love your word for the podcast, it really doesn't matter about the age. It's about how do we get to that very next level. So, Naja, I'm sure that you probably didn't start off in your young life thinking that you were going to publish a book, but I would love to know, do you have any other plans for your book? I mean, the book is out there now. I hope that it shoots to bestseller status. Do you think you have any other books that are lying within you that you need to write?
Yeah, I'm really thinking about doing a part 2 to the book with the new things that I've learned. I know, it's really awesome. Also, I want to do videos for stretching, I guess, videos to increase your strength. There's so many things that can go with it. And the sky's the limit. I'm only 19, so I think I have a few years ahead of me to do a lot of great things. But definitely new books, new videos I really want to put out.
Awesome, awesome. Well, how can people connect with you? I mean, we need to find out where we can buy your book. Do you have a website that we can all go to?
Yes, so my mom and I both share a website. Hers is thebeautyofworship.com. And if you go on there is a page called Dance Ballerina.
Wait a second. I interviewed your mom. No way.
You did. Yes, you did.
That is so funny. I didn't realize that was your mom. Oh, hi.
It is, yeah.
Oh, that is awesome. I'm telling you, it's one of the highest rated podcasts so far. Everybody, they're constantly listening to that podcast. So that is amazing. That's awesome.
Oh, that's so great. Yeah, I'm the one on the book cover that's kind of jumping in the air past her.
Awesome. Well, that's you, little Naja. Yay. Okay, so back to your mom's website is thebeautyofworship.com.
Yes, and if you go on there, there's a page called Praise Dance Ballerina. If you click on it, you are able to view a little bit about me, a little bit about the book, and you're able to purchase it on that page as well.
Awesome. So is your book, is it a paperback or is it currently an ebook?
It's currently an ebook. I really do want to put it out in print though, so look forward to that pretty soon.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And you and I, we can speak outside of here, and I can help you with that as well. You know, since I spoke to your mom, I'm loving the website. The website is lovely. I see that you guys have just been doing it up. You guys have been doing it up. And for everybody that's listening right now, I actually have both of those links, the links directly to the Beauty of Worship. If you remember, Rachel Jones was actually on the podcast a few podcasts ago, and she was speaking about the importance of health and beauty for the praise dancer. And so now I didn't even realize it. People, I'm being honest, I really didn't know that now her beautiful daughter is on here, and she's talking about technique. So we're taking it from one level to the next. So both of those links are going to be available right down in the show notes. So, Naja, before we go, do you have any parting words that you would like to leave with our listeners today?
I think I would want to say that if you're going to start doing ballet, if you're going to start a new journey with anything, that just remember that it's really important to keep your eyes on the end goal. Don't look to the left or to the right and things are blowing up over here and things aren't looking right over here. It's going to be rough. It's going to be really rough. And just remember, just the reason why you did it, the reason why you're, wanting to impact people, or the reason why you want to write a new book, the reason why you want to start a new ministry, and just keep at it. Determination is key. I started from a blog all the way to a book, and it happens, and it could be happening for you too. So just keep your eyes on the prize and just have fun, enjoy the rough parts, because one day you can laugh about it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Naja, thank you so much for just spending some time with the Exploding Worship Arts podcast audience today. I want you to come back so we can discuss all of the many different things that I know are just going to explode in your life. Thank you so much. And for everybody that's listening, I love bringing you just incredible guests every single day. This is what it's all about. We can always learn from each other. And, isn't it amazing that you've been able to connect with someone, and even though she is younger than a lot of us are, she really has created a valuable resource that you need to have in your library. Let me tell you, in the book, not only are you going to learn just about technique, but you're going to learn things about the top 10 things that technical dancers do. You'll learn about grace, poise, and strength. There's a lot of advice in the book about that. Any questions that you've ever had about technique, Naja is actually answering those for you. And she's going to also give techniques for kids in dance groups. So it's definitely something that you're going to want to get. It's a very minimal investment, but it is something that's going to allow you to really take your dancing and your dancing for the Lord to another level. And for just $10, come on, you absolutely can do that. Now listen, make sure that you tune in tomorrow. I'm going to have another really great explosive guest on the air for you. Please, please, please subscribe to us on iTunes. Leave a review and a nice rating for the show, and connect with me at tamikahall.net. I can't wait to be able to talk to you, whether it's on Facebook or on my email. Can't wait to hear from you. And until next time, make sure that you stay inspired, stay motivated, stay blessed, and remember to always explode your worship.